So my name is Omogha, Oghenero, Utomudo, so from Nigeria, and today I'll be presenting about my master thesis, which was done on security requirements, identification guidelines for SOC IT solutions in Nigeria. My professor is my supervisor was Professor Marite Ikegova. Furthermore, going forward, so in order for me to be able to get my work, the goal of this thesis was centered on identifying the security requirements for IT companies from the viewpoint of Nigeria as a case study. Then secondly, another goal was to find out the security issues or challenges companies face in Nigeria and to develop a guideline for Nigerian IT companies. Then furthermore, in order for me to achieve the goal which I spoke about, I had to ask myself some few questions which would guide me to getting the final results. So one of the questions was, what security requirement engineering and why it's necessary for business? Then the second question was, what are the existing methods that can be used for identifying security requirements which are present? Then the third question I asked was, what are the current security challenges IT companies face in Nigeria presently, and what are the solutions which have been rendered? And the fourth question was, does security challenge instigate financial loss? So companies lose money if they have security challenges. And then the fifth question, what are the laws governing IT security? Furthermore, to achieve it, I had this framework which I did for achieving my master's thesis. And what first thing I did was to get literature review about several security requirement methodologies which have been proposed by several authors. Then furthermore, we did about the challenges that are faced in Nigerian companies. And then I proposed a guideline which can be used for identifying security requirements. And I did a survey, and I actually had an interview with the company. From that interview, I was able to develop a recited requirement for Nigeria. So to proceed further, first question is, what is security requirement? Why is it necessary? So security requirement engineering, they say, is like a process of eliciting, evaluating and documenting security requirement. So if you say security requirement engineering is a method of identifying and citing ideas, then you have to ask, okay, what is security? So security has to do about protection of something. It could be like a computer, software, or whatever it could be. So it's all about protection, and all this has to be rendered both to confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information which is trying to protect. So furthermore, the methods which have been proposed by several authors for identifying security requirement, they have the security quality requirement engineering methodology, which has about 7 processes, and they have the security requirement engineering process, and this one has about 9 processes which can be used for evaluating security requirements. And then they have the STORE methodology. This has to do about threats, security threat-oriented requirement engineering, and it has about 8 methodologies, 8 methods of identifying security. And then they have the incident for threat. This also has to do about threats. You have to draw the trees, opening codes, and more about coding. Then they have the security requirement ontology method, and that is about 7 methodology guidelines they propose. So from this, now I further on went about talking about the Nigerian cyberspace itself. So before 1992, there was nothing about internet in Nigeria. So everything was done the normal way. You have to go through data writing and communicating with people till they introduced the Nigerian Communication Commission, which was introduced in 1992. And although this was introduced in 1992, when the internet kicked off in Nigeria, there were some kind of issues between government and governmental bodies with the Nigeria Communication Company. So it wasn't a good start till the early 2000, before it became like broadly used. And from between 2013 to 2018, these were the projected estimate of internet users in the country. So from 2013, there were about 6,731,186 million people who were using internet against a population of 1.1 million people. Sorry, 632 and 73. Then in 2018, out of 92.3 million users, out of the population of 192 million people presently, based on the projected estimate that was gotten from Statistica, it was projected that by 2023, the number of internet users in the country would be increased by would be 187.8 million people users. The factors which affect the performance of systems in an organization in Nigeria. So we have to consider the environmental factors also, and also we talk about cyber attacks and that, and talk about the enterprise and business. So these environmental factors are one of the major challenges which are presently facing the country of this, that are affecting security, armed robbery and theft, kidnapping, social injustice, fraud, political instability, assassination, instability of economic policies, and vandalism of installation. And all these factors are something which cannot entirely be controlled by the enterprise. It's more of government that can be able to regulate this stuff. But the ones which company can be able to avoid are mostly the cyber attacks, which could be like viruses, phishing attack, Trojan horse, worms, ransomware, spyware, unauthorized assets. Although security, we can say, cannot entirely be 100%, you can never secure something 100% because no matter how much you try, there will be new development of new style of threats which will be coming out from different attackers on the system. Then, so these are other additional prevalent factors done by Nigerian fraudsters in Nigeria. They have this online charity, and they have the next of kin scam, they have the lottery scam, and the beneficiary of real scam. So online charities, like they go online and start to request for funding for the government, like people should help the poor and something like that, trying to help and getting money from people. Then the next of kin scam would be a method which they use, which fraudsters use. They call to someone who is abroad and tell them that, okay, yes, you have some kind of money which has been dropped for you by your relative who is dead or something like that. I should come and retrieve this money or something. At the end of the day, you get lost. And then they have the lottery scam, and then they have the beneficiary of the scam. So the beneficiary of the scam is like landed properties. Then they tell you, okay, you have social land which your family left behind for you, and you should come around and come and claim it also. Then the guidelines which I developed for identifying security requirements in IT solution in Nigeria. So was first, I tried to understand the system which needs to be analyzed. That's the first thing you have to do. Then you identify the stakeholders who are in the business. Then you run a risk assessment. Then you identify the threats. And you can, in order to identify the threat, you have to evaluate the security management practices and evaluate the security culture. Then for evaluating and prioritizing threats, you can prioritize them based on critical and which one is non-critical. And then for finally, after you've done all this step, then you can decide the security requirement for the organization. Then furthermore, I developed the framework which can be used for this. So just as I said, then if there are no, if you're evaluating the threat, if there's no threat, you stop. Then if there's a threat, you go and evaluate them based on the security management practice and the security culture. Then you evaluate the threat, prioritize them based on critical and non-critical. And once you finish that, you decide the security requirement. And by deciding the security requirement, you can propose like a document for that. Then further on, the structure of the organization which I use for my analysis. For security purpose, I was not able to name the organization, so I gave it Enterprise X. They were like board of directors, regional technical officers, HR department, IT department, accounting department, legal compliance, and the customer service. And the number of employees in the organization, we have about 288 people. A number of employees who participated for the survey which I did was about 69. And the number of IT staff were 45 people, and the number of HR employees are just only 3. Then going forward, so in the organization, and when you're trying to identify security. The major key stakeholders has to do with the employees, the IT managers, the government, and maybe the customers or the consumers of the service which you're rendering. And then the assets of this company, which I did, some of the assets which I can be able to list here were the routers, computers and laptops, telephone appliances, radio switches, monitor screens, email list, electrical power generator, and employees record. Then the security practices of the organization. So they had to follow the Nigeria Communication Commission guidelines, which has to do about code of ethics and also about service of excellence. You have to render proper service. It has to do about the health and safety, human resource, competition, communication, and ethics of compliance. Then they also use the NIST cybersecurity framework, which is all about identifying the threats, then protecting it, then you protect, then you detect, and then you respond and as well recover. Then they had a standard, the ISO 207. They said they work and operate in accordance to that standard. Based on the information which I was getting from the IT manager when I had an interview with him, so he said these were the information he gave to me and what they do. So when I was talking with the IT manager on the interview, because I had to go to Nigeria for 1 week, and that's was something very interesting. So based on that, he told me that about incidents, how they classified them in the organization. It was based on data breach, that they have this table on the report. So the incident description has to be about what kind of data was breached or what kind of incident occurs. Then you have the data incident detection. So you have to think of incident detection, what date, what time exactly when it happened, that is time for the incident detection. Then the contact of details. So this is the information of how the IT staff who happened to detect this incident. Then the root cause, how it happened. You need to then find out the real solution of what happened, so next time it won't happen. So what are the preliminary actions which were taken? So what are the actions that were taken to sorting this problem? And how do you classify the security level of the threat? So is it high, is it medium, or is it low? Then what responsible departments are responsible for treating this threat? And then the time taken to resolve this, how long it took for a period of time to do this. So for evaluation of the security practices, as I said, I did like an interview with the IT manager. So I asked this question also to the employee just to support the notions, just to support what I did with the idea. And one of the questions which I asked was, are you aware of the IT policies which are placed in the organization? And unfortunately, about 40% of the people in the organization are not aware of the IT policies in the organization because they don't really care about it. They just work on a daily basis and just do their regularity without giving any attention to security. Then I asked about if they do know what data breach is. Apparently, and some of them don't know what data breach is. You can see that 40% of people in the organization don't know exactly the terminology of data breach in our way. Then we have 30% and 30% they're like, yes, and the other we are not really sure about what it is. Then lastly, they feel secure data breach in the computers they use, or do they have proper communication to report these incidents when it occurs? And you can see like 65% of people said yes, they do, and 35 people said no. For my own idea, 65 can be considered as quite okay, but there's a room for improvement for the development of better process for that. And then as do they think they have enough tools and equipment to respond to IT security incident? This question was directly channeled to the IT department just to know their stance in it. 90% are like, okay, yes, they do have enough, but they have enough tools. And just only 10% of the IT department people were like, okay, no. Then the evaluation of the security culture around across the organization. So the organization we can is a multicultural organization, but it's intercontinental, so it's just within Africa, so it hasn't been brought to other parts of the world. like Europe and co. So based on that, I asked them if the employees, if they were comfortable with their workplace security culture, and you can see the results that 40% are satisfied, 32.50% of the employees are very satisfied with it. So they are like, okay, there's no room for improvement. We are okay with this kind of security culture here. However, 22.50% they are not satisfied or they are not dissatisfied. Then you see about 2.50% of the and the other 2.50% were very dissatisfied and the others were dissatisfied. So it means that there is a very, very big room for improvement in terms of the security culture in the environment, in the workplace. So I asked about electricity, if it affects the use of the company and city too. Because currently in Nigeria there's no like 24 hours electricity. So they are running on most times, almost everybody is using generator to power their environment and power their houses. So I asked this question solely because from my own ideology back then when I was 15, because I lived in Nigeria until I was 15 years before I left. So I was like, okay, has the electricity situation improved? That's why I asked this question. And what method are they using to be able to work on this? And to my utmost surprise, there has been no improvement. And you can see already that 28% of the employees are like, yes, only 25% of the people are like, never, of course, it doesn't affect them using the tools. Then 13% and 20% sometimes, and rarely was about 30% of the employees. Then I did about if they feel secure, if they feel secure in their work environment. This was to back up this question of if they are comfortable with their security culture, and it still shows about 30% of the people were very satisfied, 7.50% neither satisfied nor dissatisfied, then 62.50% are satisfied with the security culture in their work environment. And this was also to back this question about electricity, just to get the authenticity of the question and to be able to analyze furthermore, provide the requirements for the organization and for other organizations in Nigeria. And it shows that this one, when I asked the IT department, it showed that it sometimes do affect their workflow. Then when I was evaluating threats in the organization, everything which I talked about in the past slide, I already had an interview with the IT manager. All these questions were just to back up the notion of what he told me. So I asked about the two practice and two factors identification that if they do practices. And we can see 17% of the people actually don't care, they don't practice what two factor identification is. So from my belief that they don't really know what that is. So then you see 47.50% do practice it because they know about what two-factor authentication is, which is all about when you log into the server or to your when you log in your credentials to your computer, you get like where you have to put your password, and when you put your password, you can be able to put biometrics and all this stuff. And then you have there right access controls in the workplace of the organization, such as entrance key card and etc. And here they say like 71% like, okay, yes, it's alright. Are you connected to the content editor standard? This was a good question because this is one of the factors that will push people to commit fraud or commit like malicious attacks to organizations and sell out private information to other companies. And we see 15% are satisfied, 38% are neither satisfied but dissatisfied. 15% are very dissatisfied with their salary. And this analysis shows that there is a room for improvement in payment for to employees for the services which they rendered, and about the software which was provided in the company, if they were easy to use. So I also asked it. And from all this survey, I was able to come out with identify like the security requirement for the organization, what they have to do. And this way they decided security requirement that the organization should ensure separation of duties, remote employees should be forced to use two-factor authentication. Organizations should set policy ensuring all clients' email should be left confidential. And down to the last one, the seventh requirement which companies should install as IAM tools for log analysis and credit. Then I had about 21 requirements which are provided for the organization. And the last one was about organization should keep a proper documented record of all employees. And to the IT department, this was the security.
How much time will you need more?
Just like 2 minutes. Alright, to the IT department, this was the security requirements which I developed for them. Trained auditors should inspect the logs, they should always employ trained auditors to employ the logs, and database server should be placed in a special admin segment which is far away from employers. And then the IT department should ensure that database activity should be logged and inspected by trained auditors on a weekly basis. IT department should run the system diagnosis on a weekly basis, and down to the 15th one, which is that security officers should regularly update the security policies for at least on a yearly basis. And finally, the conclusion, the proposed guidelines, security requirement guidelines, were successfully applied to the company, and can likewise be used by other small businesses in generating the recited and reciting the security requirements for the organizations. And references which are used in the presentation, this were the references was from National Cyber Space Governance Conference in Nigeria in 2015, and this was from Statista, that was organized for the statistics. And finally, that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.